I think we're live. Howdy, folks. I'm Brian.
I'm Amber.
And here's some Reddit. Before we begin, we are still waiting for some people to trickle in, but I guess what we'll do is Amber wanted to read me a riddle.
Yes, we're going to start off from a riddle from Super Silly Riddles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so...
Oh, a super silly riddle on this channel? That can't be. We are very super serious on this channel.
Are we now? All
yes.
Right. Get your serious face ready. What do you get if you cross a watchdog with a werewolf?
A watch? What?
What do you get if you cross a watchdog?
Oh, a watchdog.
With a werewolf.
With a werewolf? What do you get?
A very nervous mail carrier.
Oh my goodness.
A cute little illustration to go along with it.
I don't know if people can see that or not.
I don't know if you can see, but it's cute. It's just a very nervous male character.
Yeah. Hi there, question mark. We have about a 6-second delay, maybe more. Last time it was like 30 seconds. So if you don't hear a response from us immediately, it's because YouTube. So, and it's Mary.
Hi,
hey,
Mary.
So we have a couple people now. Let's get started. We'll read these. Our first letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for How I Reacted to My Fiancé Surprising Me with Our Dream House? I'm not sure if I'm the world's most ungrateful person right now or not, so my fiancé and I are getting married soon. The plan was that once we get married, we would be able to move in with him, and then when we were ready to start having a family, we would sit down and buy a house. That's pretty reasonable. I mean, that's generally what folks do.
Yes.
But there's more.
Yes.
I guess he changed his mind because he surprised me with our dream house. The house is beautiful, and we have had a house hunter. And if we had house hunted together, then I think I would have fallen in love with it. However, I was so upset we wouldn't be able to pick our forever home together that I just started crying when he told me. I didn't know how to explain my reaction, and I could see that he was upset, so I asked him to take me home. When I got home, my family asked me what happened, and I explained. They were all very upset with me and said my reaction was bad and that I should have been happy with the house that he bought for me. They told me to call him and apologize. I didn't, and I just went to bed early. This happened on Sunday, and I finally called him yesterday. He sounded upset with me, so I'm not sure if it's because of my reaction or because he never called or texted him sooner after it happened. So am I the jerk?
No.
All right, what do you folks think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yeah, I'm gonna weigh in with not the jerk. Like, there are presents that it's great to surprise your fiance with. Like, if you know their tastes in clothes or food, you could get them some chocolates or a dress, or like there's all kinds of like appropriate presents.
Yeah,
but, like,
exactly.
A house is something, like, there's so much that goes into a house, like, even if you like, Brian knows my specifications for a house to a T. But if he
a rundown shack in the middle of an alley.
No. And so even like, though he knows my taste in houses really, really well, and like, I'm sure if he had to pick a house for us, it would be wonderful.
Yeah, my thought was that we had this one house that was like $100,000 or something like that. That was basically gutted from the inside, and I totally thought Amber wanted that.
Yeah, I know. And so.
And one of the things that Mary says is, not the jerk, however, I was in this very same situation in 1975, and it all worked out. It was a repo fixer-upper. Wow, that's quite the story.
Yeah, so I can definitely understand where Opie is coming from with wanting to have a say in the house. Because like I was saying, like, even though Brian knows my style very well, I would like want to say, and I'd feel kind of hurt if he just like took all the choice out of my hands.
Yeah, I can understand that. And I mean, I think it, is a matter of like person to person. And sometimes these things do work out.
Yeah, they absolutely can work out. And so, sometimes it can work out and it works out great. But I also definitely understand feeling hurt by not being included in the decision, because where
Yeah.
you're gonna live is a very big decision.
Yeah, it's a huge decision. And then also, like, if he bought this before they got married, then this isn't going to be like marital property.
Right, it'll be a premarital asset, and so if they were to get divorced, then like she may be like
Yeah.
not entitled to any part of the house or anything.
Yeah, so as long as she's actually like on the deed and on the title and all that kind of stuff, then I think that this is probably fine. So, yeah. Let's move on to our next story.
Our next story is, and this one is a little bit of a story. So, our next story is, am I the jerk for telling my friend exactly why I don't want her alone with my boyfriend? I'm a 19-year-old female, and I have friends who are a married couple, Jay, a 19-year-old female, and Emily, also a 19-year-old female. They are a polyamorous couple, and they have an open relationship, so they can be with who they please. Now, Jay likes to be with committed men. She's been with many, saying she loves knowing that she can get any man she wants and they'll always choose her.
No.
She even went as far as to get one of them to leave his wife for her, then dumped him, saying she never wanted anything serious. Her wife tells her it's disgusting to be with a married man, especially since none of them have open relationships. I have a long-term boyfriend who's a 19-year-old male, and we've been together for 3 years. He has a high-functioning autism, he wanted me to clarify, and is a great partner overall. I trust him with all my heart and soul. We are in a monogamous relationship. My boyfriend, our friends, and I have been friends since high school. On to the issue. Last year, Jay went drinking and admitted to me that she wants to sleep with my boyfriend. I told her if she ever tried anything, I'd never forgive her and I'd opt out of our friendship. Today, she asked me if I could send my boyfriend over to her house to hang out since I was at the gym and my boyfriend stays home as he has crippling anxiety. I told her since her wife isn't home, she was at the gym with me, I'd rather my boyfriend stay home until I got there and then we can all hang out. I thought that would be an easy answer.
You would think that would be an easy answer.
She explained that ever since she confessed to me, I've been distancing him away from her. I wonder why.
I wonder. Could it possibly be, what could possibly about this situation cause someone to distance themselves?
She asked me why. I said we can talk about that later when I get home since I was literally running on a treadmill. I get a call from my boyfriend asking me to come home because Jay came over to our house, but he gets uncomfortable with anyone unless myself or another party is involved. I go home with Emily to my house. Jay asked me if I have an issue with her being alone with my boyfriend. I was already mad as I had to leave the gym early, so I admit I did kind of lose it. I said, well, you can't expect me to fully trust you given your history with committed men, and the fact that you brought up your confession makes it seem like you had ill intentions.
Maybe a small amount.
She starts crying, saying I don't trust her. I remind her that she's ruined a lot of our first friends' relationships by sleeping with their boyfriends. She ran home crying. She says
the truth hurt.
She says she'd never do that to me, and I need to apologize or she's ending the friendship. Emily is torn because she loves her wife, but agrees that I have a point. I'm wondering if I'm the jerk because I feel like I should just trust her since she's one of my closest friends, but I just can't. Am I the jerk for telling her exactly why I don't want her alone with my boyfriend? And because I can see this coming, I trust my boyfriend with everything I have. Plus, he cries if someone touches him without letting him know first,
Yeah.
so he'd call if anything happened. All right, I'm going to say OP is not the jerk for what she said to her friend.
Yeah.
But why are you still friends with this lady?
Well, I mean, I think, like, that's a good question. Like, she seems to have a very gray moral compass here.
Right, well, and she also doesn't seem to care about OP's boyfriend. Like, I'm concerned for the boyfriend.
Yeah. Well, what kind of damage this is going to do to him if she does try to make the moves on him, right?
Exactly. Like, I know a lot of folks with autism have sensory issues and don't like affection unless from certain people.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like she's wanting to make moves on someone who has no desire for this. And so I'm concerned about, like, that she's just going to, like, keep going after him because she has her goal. She wants this dude.
Well, exactly. And if she's trying to, like, pick him off, so to speak, or test him, so to speak, then, I mean, I can completely understand why OP would not be comfortable with that situation. Mary says, not the jerk, not the jerk, not
Yeah,
the
like
jerk.
I cannot fault Opie at all for what she said. Like this lady is I think she probably needs some therapy. Like
Yeah,
there's something
there is
deeper going on
something
here.
deeply wrong with this mindset of wanting to like break up relationships. And then Mary says it's like sneaking bacon into a vegan casserole. Well, I mean that's a pretty good
Yeah.
analogy, you know. I also want to say hi to Morgan who joined us. So hi Morgan. I typed it in there in the chat, but I like to also say hi. You will like it, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I really just think this is one of those situations where it's better to not necessarily trust your friend completely if they have a
Right.
history of doing these kinds of things. And
Right.
you know, basically to like bring this up was not a low blow. This is like
Right.
a literal history she has of
And she
breaking up.
literally confessed too that
Yeah.
she wants to sleep with your boyfriend.
Yeah, I mean, at that point in time, it's like, what else can you possibly do
The
to?
dots have been connected.
Yeah, there are dots. They have been connected, and they do not lie. Oops, we're gonna start off our next letter, but before we do that, we have
Tea
some
time.
tea. Let us know what you folks are drinking for beverages.
I have mint tea. I imagine Brian has as well.
I have mint tea as well. Mary told you. Mary says that she told you who she was. Now she's mad that you know who she is.
Well,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Our next letter is titled. Oh, Diet Coke. So Mary's got a Diet Coke. If anyone else has any beverages, I will shout them out. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for making fun of my coworker's big ears? I'm a 31-year-old male and I'm 5'3". When I first met my coworker a few months ago, the first thing he said to me was, "Oh my god, dude, you are so short." As if he wouldn't know that. As if a short person would possibly never realize
Okay,
that
as a
they're...
short person, I don't know how many times I have been told variations of that. Not so much these days, but like I've definitely had people just like go up to me and be like, "Wow, you're so short." And then,
Wow! Oh wow! You know, I chose that this morning.
and then like I have like other people who like will like if I tell them my height that I'm 5'2" and
Yeah.
like they're also like close to that, they're like will ask you to like go like stand back to back to see who's taller.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like,
it's like, does this matter? Does this matter? Before he even said hello or how are you, he said that. Ever since then, he calls me Shorty Pipsqueak Smalls all the time. I'm not overtly insecure about my height, but I've been feeling pretty insecure about it after being around him for a few months. I asked him repeatedly to stop, and he laughed it off and said it was just a joke. I love these people who are just like, it's just a joke.
yeah, well, he sounds like a high school bully over here.
Question mark has boring old water. It's not boring, it's good. And Mary says, maybe it would be better to say, oh my god, dude, you're so rude. Yeah.
Yep.
So now my coworker has a larger than average ears. They aren't extremely ginormous, but they're big. The other day, he walked up to me and said, "Hey, Shorty, what's up?" So I replied, "Hey, big ears, how are you?" You could tell that he was immediately offended. I thought that would put an end to the short jokes once and for all. But later in that same conversation, he called me tiny, so I said his ears were as big as Dumbo. This went on for about a day, and at the end of the day, I called him Mega Ear, and he lost it. He said I was a huge jerk for teasing him about it. I love, if you can't dish it, then you can't take it, right? Or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He also said that everyone noticed my height, so it didn't matter if others had pointed it out to him, but not everyone notices his ears, so is unfairly pointing it out to others. I told my girlfriend about the story later, and she provided more compelling argument for why I might be a jerk. She said that petty squabbles ruin coworker relationships, as if like him doing this repeatedly,
Right.
bringing it up to HR wasn't enough to ruin it to begin with, and that I should have let it go. Resubmitted a complaint to HR, or otherwise taken the high road. She said that I definitely wasn't the only jerk in this situation, but I probably was one. I don't really feel like I'm the jerk, but I thought I would ask here. And then let's see. Mary says OP should mumble. What was that? I didn't hear you. Seriously. Yeah, what do you folks think? Jerk or not the jerk?
I'm gonna say that Opie is not the jerk. Like, could he have handled the situation more maturely? Sure. But when you're basically dealing with a high school bully,
Yeah.
sometimes you know it helps to respond in the way that you know will get to them.
Well, and I mean, I think that, yeah, it's immature to make fun of people for characteristics like this, but also, like, OP asked nicely.
Yeah, he asked, and he, you know, and when that didn't work, he tried going to HR. Like, he took all the avenues. Like, this coworker is making an uncomfortable working environment. He's making OP feel very insecure,
Yeah.
and so, like,
Yeah, and that's just it. Is like it was rude, and the coworker just refused to, give any ground on here. He wasn't like, "Oh, hey, yeah, actually I didn't realize that bothers you so much." He just doubled down and was like,
right,
"Oh, I'm just going to keep making fun of you even more even though I know that this bothers you."
yeah,
And OP wasn't insecure about his height, but, just like his coworker probably wasn't insecure about his ears.
right. And so now he's feeling what he did to OP, and it doesn't feel very good.
No, exactly. And Mary says nothing shuts down the rude like rude.
Well, exactly. Like, that's the thing is like, and that's why the strategy worked for OP, was that sometimes the only way to get through to rude people is to like turn their own tap, because these people who say these things, like,
Hmm.
they never assume you're gonna say those sort of things right back to them.
Yeah, well, and I think like there's a time and place for the high road, and I think like showing him what he's doing and why it might hurt is, I think, an appropriate tactic in this case. I mean, it might not be the most mature, and worst case scenario, everyone's a jerk a little bit in this case. But I honestly feel like OP was probably justified here.
Yeah, I think I would say that he's probably justified, because again, the other guy is like literally just. Um, our next story is, am I the jerk for refusing to let a female student use the bathroom?
This one's an interesting one.
This one is interesting and it's complicated. So I know the title makes me look like a major jerk, but hear me out. I'm a 46-year-old male and I work at a high school as a PE teacher. And I recently noticed that a student of mine, let's call her A, stopped participating in class, and her excuse would always be the same. Mr. Smith, me, I'm on my period, can I please go to the bathroom? This carried on every PE lesson for 1 month when our unit was dancing, and I had to give each student a mark. At this point, A was concerningly behind everyone in our unit, and I had nothing to grade her on, and I was getting increasingly annoyed. And up until this point, I had never told her no when she always used the bathroom and would come back after 45 minutes. So once again, she asked if she could use the bathroom because she was on her period, and I just snapped.
So one thing, like in all this time, he never sent anyone to go check in on her for using the bathroom for 45 minutes.
Yeah, well, A, if you're on your period this often,
This is awesome that you're on your period this often.
multiple times in 2 months, then I honestly think you need medical help. I have to grade you, come up and participate. Later that day at around 17 o'clock, I was placed on temporary leave because of the complaints I got from A's parents, and A had also gotten her friends and their parents to complain. I was being called sexist and multiple other names by students and parents, and I was honestly so confused, and multiple of the students' parents threatened the principal to turn into social media or even enroll their girls in another school because of me, since they felt unsafe with a sexist teacher. So, am I the jerk when what should be my next action to regain the parents' respect?
Yeah, exactly. And Mary just said OP should suggest a visit to the nurse. And yeah, I mean, I think that OP should have taken the time to talk to the nurse, talk to the parents in this situation.
Yeah, so I think the big thing OP did was waiting and waiting and waiting until he exploded in front of the class. Like,
in front of the class? In front of the
want to
class.
talk about students' medical issues
Yeah.
in front of other people. That is a confidence, even though she's bringing up her period,
Yeah.
by saying, "Oh, if you have problems with this often with your period, you need to go like to the doctor," type
Yeah.
of thing. Like,
Maybe she
that
knows
is-
that.
that is not okay. So like it's understandable if OP feels like there's a good chance that she is making this up, because very few people do have periods that last that long or that heavy.
Yeah.
But as one of my mentors once told me, when I was first working as a grad TA, was that we always assume your students are being honest.
Yeah.
And always assuming they're being honest doesn't mean give them anything they want.
Oh
Like,
yeah, of
the
course.
problem here, with a lot of these stories I see, is that they often, like, the teachers are like so lenient to a point, and then they get to a point where they
Where they
explode.
break, right? I mean, kids are gonna press boundaries because that's what kids do. You need to like build those boundaries up beforehand, you know?
And so if you have a student who's missing like 45 minutes of your class, and that's concerning in its own right.
Yeah.
So if she has done that, even once, but maybe twice, and you see this as a pattern, it's perfectly fine to talk to her in private
Yeah.
and say, hey, I noticed that you were out of class for 45 minutes. If you're having this much difficulty with your period, can we, talk to the school nurse?
Yeah.
Maybe it would be a good idea to set up a doctor's appointment?
Yeah.
Like, can I talk to your parents? Or,
Exactly,
there's
exactly.
a way to handle it.
Yeah, there was a protocol to be taken, and OP just went off the rails. Totally did not follow that protocol at all. And Mary says not to downplay PE, but it's not calculus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my thoughts exactly. In that, like, I was the kid who I had to do gym for 2 years in high school and I hated it. I was like, it's not a real class. Why are they making me do this?
I like gym
I
fine.
hated it. I can't run. I can't do anything physically active. So that's not entirely true. I can walk. I can hike.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, even if OP thought that this person was faking it, and 2 months is a long time to be having a period, right? If that was the case, but that still didn't justify anything they did here, and I really felt like that they just over assumed and then didn't do anything about it till it was too late, and now they're wondering why the consequences are catching up to them.
Yeah, so I mean, I think he made a huge mistake by doing this in front of the whole class, and, like, again, you gotta treat students' medical issues as confidential things.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. All right. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Taking My Oldest Child to My Sister's Child-Free Wedding? There's a twist in this one,
Yeah.
folks. I'm still in shock this whole thing happened, but I want to hear some outside perspective, so here I am. I have 4 kids, 11, 14, 16, and 19.
So file that away for later. The oldest is 19.
A while ago, we all received an invitation to my sister's wedding. That's me, my husband, and all 4 of my kids. Her wedding was in a different country, but it was at a good time so we could all go. We booked everything and we were all ready to go. We got there a little bit before time of the wedding, quite literally a few days before the wedding. I was informed that it was going to be a child-free wedding. Look, I have no issue with child-free weddings, but I was a bit frustrated. I mean, if I had known that it was going to be child-free, then arrangements could have been made so we didn't all have to travel. We were all invited, so I was just annoyed that it was switched up. But I can also understand that weddings can be stressful and that sometimes things are going to change. I spent quite a bit of time trying to find a place for my 3 youngest to stay during the wedding, but it all sorted it out eventually. Okay, it was the wedding day. No more changes have been made. Everything was good. We were on our way to there when I got a message that my sister was excited to see you 2. I was a bit confused because of course 3 of us were going. I just decided that was probably an error and didn't worry. We got there and my sister seemed very surprised to see my oldest, and not a nice surprise either. A pretty condescending surprise, but again, it's her wedding day and she's probably just nervous. I let it go. During the wedding, I couldn't help but feel that she was ignoring us. I don't know. If none of this had ever happened, I wouldn't have cared because again, it's her wedding and she doesn't have to pay equal attention to everyone, but everything else, it just felt weird. After the wedding, she sent me a message that it was nice to see me there, but she would have appreciated it if I had respected the child-free part. That's right, folks. 19 is the child. I replied saying that I was so happy for her and that I enjoyed every second of the wedding, and I thought that I had respected it because if there was a miscommunication, I was very sorry. She told me that there was no miscommunication, that I had disrespected her and I should apologize. I basically reiterated what I had said and didn't apologize. Am I the jerk? For those of you wondering about this invitation/RSVP, the invitation said bride and groom's name would like to invite all 6 of your names, and we were all asked to RSVP by email, which I did. I had also seen my sister between this and the wedding, and it was clear that she knew we were all planning to attend. And yes, this is about my 19-year-old. I use the definition of child as son or daughter, not as an under 18. Sorry for the confusion. All right, folks. All right, folks. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna say not the jerk here. Well, first of all, the sister is a jerk for waiting until the last minute to change things up.
Who
Like,
does
it's in
that?
a whole other country. Opie has gotten her entire family to this whole other country.
Yeah.
And then a few days before the wedding, she has to scramble to find a babysitter in some country that's not her home country.
Yeah, yeah, on
like,
top of that.
for her three youngest. And then she brings her literal adult child, like the 19-year-old, to the wedding because she's not an actual child.
Yeah.
And then the sister has the nerve to be like, I can't believe that you didn't respect my child-free wishes.
Maybe they just assumed that the 19-year-old would be the one babysitting.
I think they could have.
They're like, oh, they'll just make the 19-year-old babysit, right? But I mean, this was such a unwarranted situation that could have been completely avoided with a little bit of preparation. Like,
Right.
just saying you and your husband are invited, not
Right.
anyone else.
Exactly. If those two had been invited from the get-go, then like that would have been fine. But again, like, why change things up right before the wedding? Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe she was afraid that people wouldn't come if they knew their kids wouldn't be invited or something like that. But that's a lot of hurdles to make everyone jump through.
Yeah, it is a lot of hurdles, and I just don't understand what the point was, right? I mean, you send out RSVPs to get an idea about how many people are attending, and if ahead of time they had just been like, oh, actually, we're really sorry, more people had RSVP'd than we thought, and then I'm sure there could have been like something worked out to be like it being a miscommunication. Mary says, I had to back out of my you're the jerk to everyone's a jerk. The kids were invited. The little ones did not come. The 19-year-old is an adult, but OP should have clarified the situation. I would have left at the first sign of no. And question mark says, I mean, they're young, but they're not a child. They're more like a young adult. If they didn't want the 19-year-old there, they probably should have been told a bit more specific about it. Yeah, I mean, I think I can agree on that, you know. I mean, I think that clarifying would have been a good idea, especially if there was like the text while they were driving there, because it would have been easy to make a phone call at that point in time, been like, oh hey, what do you mean us two, you know?
Right. And like it depends on how far along they were to the wedding venue, because there may not have been time to like turn around and
like if they were like 5 minutes out, then no, of course, like there's no clarification at that point in time. But if they were just leaving and then they're like, oh, we're looking forward to seeing you, then that might have been an easy situation to like clarify and avoid, right? So I think that that's a valid point. And I mean, also I agree with question mark here in the respect that I don't really feel like they were a child at all, and that they were literally, invited ahead of time. So
right, like, and if she did mean specifically to exclude like all of her nieces and nephews, then like said like parents only or something like that.
And Mary says, weddings these days, sheesh. I know.
Our wedding was very different from what we planned, thanks to the current situation.
Yeah, this current world has changed many things.
All right, our next letter. Actually, I'm gonna take some tea real quick.
Amber's gonna take some tea, and I'm just going to sit here and ramble for a second so that there's no like dead air, because horror of horrors if that happened.
Our next story is, am I the jerk for ignoring the opinions of the mother of the bride? Though away as I've made posts concerning my business on my main, also English is my first language. I just struggle with writing, so sorry for any mistakes. Thank you.
That makes two of us.
Okay, so I'm a 27-year-old male and I make custom garments. A few months ago, I got a request from a bride, a 28-year-old female, who I'll be calling Maddie. She was really nice and wanted to see if I did alterations, as she wants to wear her mother's dress, but wanted it altered to fit her, and wanted some changes done to the dress. She sent me a pic of her in the dress, as well as descriptions and image descriptions of what she wanted, and we agreed on a price. Normally, I would ask her to ship the dress to me, but she actually lived a few towns over, so we set up a date to meet up so she can give me the dress and I could show her the sketches and mock-ups. Just to clarify, the dress belonged to her mother that passed when she was 15. The mother I mentioned in the story is her stepmother, so the person who's going to come with Maddie is not the mother who owned the dress. I get to the cafe first and sit down. About 15 minutes after we were supposed to meet, Maddie and her mother walked in. Maddie is really apologetic and started explaining that she and her mother were coming here after they had gone shopping for the wedding jewelry, and her mother didn't want to leave when they had to. I said it was fine. She pulled out the dress and showed it to me. It's a beautiful vintage dress. Her alterations aren't too difficult. The biggest change is that she wanted to change the neckline and the style of the sleeves. The thing is, every time I would tell Maddie something about the process or suggest something, and no matter how Maddie reacted, I always get huffs and eye rolls from her mother. Maddie went to the bathroom before leaving, and her mother came up to me, told me that she didn't like a few of the ideas I proposed, and wanted to suggest something herself, and pulled out a list.
A list, something. She knew what she wanted.
I stopped her and told her that any suggestions or changes would need to be told to me by the bride, so she would have to tell Maddie her ideas. She got visibly annoyed and told me that I ignored her the whole time, and as the mother of the bride, she should have an opinion. I told her Maddie was my customer, not her. She then tried to tell me that it's her old dress. I told her that I know it's not. It's Maddie's dead mother's old dress, not hers. She left in a huff.
Oh,
When
poor stepmother.
When Maddie came back from the bathroom, I told her what happened, and she didn't seem too surprised, but was frustrated. She apologized and thanked me for telling her, and that she can't wait to see her finished dress. I was talking about this to a fellow designer who specializes in bridal wear, and she told me that I should have involved the mother from the beginning and that I was just being rude to her. I should have always taken the list and tried to pitch the ideas to Maddie.
Oh, yeah.
No, I really didn't think what I did was wrong, but I don't get wedding commissions often, so I'm more used to working with cosplayers. Maybe there are some unspoken rules I didn't know about. So, am I the jerk?
I think that OP is certainly not the jerk.
I 100% agree. Like, I mean, the stepmother, the bride is a customer. The stepmother, it has nothing to do with this dress. Yeah. It's all about what the bride wants. Yeah. And it should be all about what the bride wants, not what her, the stepmother didn't even own the dress. And she, lying and trying to be like, this was my dress, so, now I have a say over it. Like, that, what kind of a manipulative nonsense is that?
Yeah, well, exactly. And Mary says, not the jerk, evil stepmother alert. Yeah. Good for OP, no, 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 and then the unspoken rule is that it's not her day. Exactly. Yeah, this wasn't about the stepmother.
Exactly.
And she couldn't stand for a second to not be in the spotlight here, and I think that was really what this boiled down to. So, I mean, I think that this is certainly, I don't think that OP is the jerk here. I think that OP did the responsible thing and basically, laid out the boundaries of the situation and explained everything. So, yeah, I don't think the jerk.
Yeah, I don't like that other stylist, because that actually feels really, manipulative to try and, change someone's idea about the dress to fit their mother's specifications.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm sure that that Maddie had and already had a discussion with her stepmother about this.
It sounds like her stepmother probably steamrolls her in a lot of things.
Yeah. And that's really what this kind of boils down to, is it sounds like, Maddie probably, this isn't the first rodeo that Maddie has had with her stepmom, and it definitely sounds like the stepmom made her suggestions well aware to Maddie with all the huffing and everything like that involved, So... and Mary says a bride in cosplay sounds cool.
It does.
Yeah, it does. Certainly does. All right. Our next letter is titled, and this will probably be our last letter. So we'll have gone through 7 stories today. Our last letter is titled, "Am I the jerk for not drinking during my girlfriend's family tradition?" So, long story short, I have a personal rule to never drink alcohol. I have a myriad of reasons, from general health to honoring loved ones, but that's not the point. The point is that I do not ever drink. My girlfriend and I went to her family party, and apparently they have a tradition of everyone taking a shot to honor their dead relatives. Everyone does it at the same time and talks about what they're thankful for and everything. But I told the person handing me a shot that I wouldn't drink, and that he looked at me funny. Her cousin pointed out me out. Her cousin pointed me out before they drank and said he needs a shot. And I said, no, I'm okay. I don't drink. And he said, it's just one shot. And I said, no, I can't, but please continue. I'll just drink something else. And they refused to even start. I end up leaving after being egged on too much, and my girlfriend apologized to me after we left. She did her best to defend me, but her family is just stubborn. Everyone was talking about me, apparently saying that I was selfish and how I was ruining the night. It was just one shot, but I don't know. I couldn't bring myself to do it. Am I the jerk?
I'm gonna say not the jerk.
Yeah.
I mean, I think OP offered a reasonable, like, I'll drink something else. Like, it's fine if you want OP to participate in the tradition of, like, drinking something, but, like, why couldn't he have had, like, water or soda instead? Like, people have all kinds of very valid reasons.
Yeah.
I personally don't drink, and so, like, it doesn't matter the occasion. And so if someone came up to me and was like, oh, you have to have a shot, like, just do it. It's just one shot. I'd be like, no, thank you. Bye-bye. I'm leaving.
And Mary says, not the jerk. I have a tradition to abstain from alcohol without passing judgment. Yeah. And the thing is, like, I think that the girlfriend probably should have given OP a heads up.
Right. If he didn't know in advance that they have this tradition and they were going to expect him to drink, like, that's really not cool of her to not inform him beforehand.
And she may not have realized that they were going to be, like, this dead set on it.
She might have just assumed they'd let him opt out.
Yeah. And I think it was really odd for them to, like, press this so hard. I mean, this just seems like a really weird hill to die on. Just let people have their own preferences, right? And question mark says, if you say you don't drink, they should respect that. I also agree that there's non-alcoholic drinks that they could have done it with. I mean, why did it have to be alcohol? What about it specifically did it need to be alcohol? Like, why not just have a shot of ginger ale, you know?
Yeah.
Why did it matter that it, what about the alcohol makes it a sacred tradition?
Yeah, so. Well, our wedding toast was ginger ale. Yeah. Oh, no, it was cream soda. We had diet cream soda for our wedding toast.
And Mary says, is this in the UK? My UK friends are like that a bit. Drinking in some of those places is actually, like, very, very core to the culture.
There are a lot of cultural traditions around alcohol, and I have no idea where this story is from, but there definitely there are people in the US too, like, who are all about drinking. Like, I mean, when I was in grad school, like, if I would go to any grad school event, like, just so much alcohol everywhere.
Yeah, well, grad school is basically, like, everyone wants to drink all the time. And
like, not that I can fault anyone because it's grad school, but it's a little tricky if you don't drink.
Yeah, and this isn't, like, I think that people can drink and drink responsibly.
Absolutely.
I drink alcohol, or I haven't drank alcohol in a long time, but, I don't have a problem with drinking. And that's just really what it boils down to, is, like, each to their own. And OP has their own reasons for not wanting to drink, and I think that's commendable, right? And, my grandmother, she was a teetotaler, and she did not drink a drop of alcohol in her entire life. And I think that frustrated, like, some people because, like, and this is actually resonates a little bit with me because, like, I think somebody, when my grandma went to a wedding, they got a little flustered that she wouldn't even have a sip of the champagne, so to speak.
Yeah, but she'd made a vow to her church that she was never gonna, drink alcohol, and she took it very seriously, and I think that's totally valid.
And I do. I think that there's no reason to force someone to drink alcohol if they don't want to, and I think that it's actually really unfair to judge people because they don't want to drink. So I do like this, and I'm happy that OP stood up for themselves and established their boundaries.
And it's really not different from trying to make someone drink anything else or eat anything they might object to, Like, there's all kinds of things people can't eat or drink, and, like, if someone says they can't do it, don't make them. Yeah,
exactly. All right, folks. That's all the time we have for today.
Do we want to tell people about our day first?
Oh, well, yeah, we can tell people about our day. So, what do you want to say about our day?
We had a bit of a day today in that our heat went out in the night last night. So we wake up in the morning and it's 52 degrees in our house, and so you had to call maintenance. And our apartment has this weird, like, hot water heating system where like it takes ages for the house to get up to temperature. So like since the heat went out, like we were like huddled in our bedroom all day, like watching the temperature. It was like probably like 3 p.m. before it got up to like 64 degrees or maybe it was 67 or something. But
Yeah,
it's like
so it was a cold day.
yes.
I was wearing a jacket in the house. Let's put it that way. Mary says I hit my limit in the 90s. Yeah, I can't blame you there. Like I said, I haven't drank in quite a while myself, so not since the 90s.
You were a child in the 90s.
I was a child in the 90s. So
I was also a child in the 90s.
yeah.
An even littler child.
So yeah, our day was a little bit oh, well, it's no big deal. We live in Maine. We kind of expect it's going to be cold from time to time. So Morgan says, "Oh geez, I'm sorry, that's awful."
It was just like annoying more than anything.
Yeah, it was
like,
annoying more than anything. Like we had plenty of like blankets
Blankets and
and
stuff.
jackets and stuff like that.
but it was still like not the way you want to wake up in the morning.
Yeah. So it was more of a minor inconvenience. We didn't lose hot water, right? It's the hot water system isn't like
It's separate from our heating, so we didn't lose the hot water or anything. It was just the heat. So we were chilly for a bit.
Yeah.
I was like I had like, my sweatshirt on. I have 2 layers of leggings on still and like so we were all bundled up being cozy.
yeah. So and Mary says I'm wearing a jacket even in the summer and I'm in Vegas. Yeah.
I mean, I'm the person who's wearing a jacket even in the summer. I'm in Maine, but I am a jacket in the summer type person.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, after like, 50 degrees in the summertime, 50 degrees in the summertime, I'm like, oh, it's so warm out, right? Once it hits
You mean
spring.
spring?
In
Yeah, like
spring.
in spring when it first hit 50 after it's been like 20 degrees
Yeah.
for like weeks.
Yeah, and like in Maine, like the last couple of, like yesterday, it got down to like -17 here,
Something
-15.
like that, yeah.
So, yeah, it was very chilly yesterday, but that was actually last night, it only got down like 10 degrees. So, fortunately, it wasn't a super cold day or night, right? So, yeah, it's Maine. It's Maine. It's cold here. Before we close out the story, let's just pick a random joke. Do you folks want to hear a random joke? Oh, this is a good one.
I have one after this.
Oh, really? Why don't you? Oh,
I was
I'll
gonna read
read
a
it.
different one on the other page.
Oh, okay. What are arithmetic bugs? Mosquitoes, because they add to misery, subtract from pleasure, and divide your attention and multiply quickly.
That's pretty good.
I just opened up to a random page. Oh my goodness, these jokes are super silly,
They
folks.
are fantastic.
Amber wants to read one.
What number can you divide in half and have nothing?
I give up.
8. Yeah, you cut it in half and you have 2 zeros. Isn't that great?
That's horrible. That's a
fantastic.
terrible. That is just beyond silly. Very
I have math
silly.
plates now.
Oh yeah, Amber has been reading these books and
Yeah, The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, and I did it through Once Upon a Book Club, and so they have like little prizes that you open along with the story, and so they're mathy. I'm right here. I don't think you'll be able to see the
Amber wants to see show you the math plates. Yeah, Mary's shaking her heads over here over the jokes.
Now, I don't think the people who designed this actually necessarily are mathematicians.
They might not be able to hear you.
Oh, I'll sit down in a second. So that's the plate. I don't think the people who designed this are actually mathematicians because there's some questionable stuff on there. But I just thought it was really cute. And now we have plates for when we have our fellow mathematician friends over. So.
But yeah, I guess we'll wrap this up now. So thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes, thank you so much.
We had so much fun. I enjoyed reading the comments as we went along. Hopefully you enjoyed the stories today and the very bad jokes. Trust me,
they're wonderful jokes.
Trust me, these jokes aren't going anywhere anytime soon. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us, Mary. Thanks for joining us, and Morgan. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll probably keep this open just for a few more minutes while everyone... and Morgan says, thank you. These were great stories. Have a good rest of your day. Can't wait for the next one. We can't wait to read the next one. So, Yeah, and we'll see you all later.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.
Yes.
Have a warm weekend.
Yes, hopefully you are warmer. Well, we're warm now. Our house is fine, but like, hopefully you don't lose heat or anything.
Yeah. Oh, and we are in for a big
Yeah, we
storm
got a
this
blizzard
weekend.
coming tomorrow, and I'm not looking forward to that.
Oh, and ACU Simpletic. No, I missed exactly the whole stream. Oh no.
Well, it's going up on YouTube right after, so you'll be able to see that.
Yeah, and Mary says looking forward to the February live stream. Bye. Bye. We'll see you later. We'll wait. We'll let people file out, and then we'll say our goodbyes as people leave. Let's see. Oh, I guess there was the difference there. I don't know what that was all about. I clicked on something and I don't know what it did. I want to see what other participants are here. Yeah, that's about the whole lot of you. So thanks so much for watching, folks, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Don't worry, we're doing it every month at the last Friday of every month. So we'll be out. We'll have it up again. So don't worry. I was waiting for the end.
The end.
The end. All right.
You need like a title card.
Yeah. All right, folks. I'm closing it down. We'll see you later.